it's Lisa. I'm doing the color challenge this week at Split Coast Stampers. I haven't been doing cards as much in the last couple of years, been doing mostly scrapbook pages and getting back into doing a few cards, and I always used to enjoy doing these challenges, so I've started doing them again. Every Tuesday is a color challenge, and they have several colors from the Stampin' Up! Palette. You can substitute other colors, and I thought I'd take you through my process for what I pull out and how I go through doing a card like this. Sometimes I combine it with Wednesday's sketch challenge, but this week I'm just doing the colors. The three colors for this week are Always Artichoke, Calypso Coral, and a peach color called Peekaboo Peach, which I did not have, so I'm using the old Peach Parfait color. I went to the Stampin' Up! Catalog, and this was really close to the Peekaboo Peach, so that's the one we're going to use. So pull out the cardstock first, and then I go and look and see what inks I have. I have the Calypso Coral ink in the regular ink pad and the marker, and the only thing I have in this peach is the Peach Parfait pen. I have no ink in the artichoke at all, so we won't be using anything close to that in green ink, so we'll just use that color some other way. It doesn't have to be cardstock, it could be designer paper or something, but I just don't have, and I think I may have some paper in it, but I don't have that. So I'm looking for all of those things. Now, although I don't have an ink pad in this color, I have something really, really close, and that is the Spiced Marmalade ink pad from the Distress Oxides, and that might be fun, you know, since those inks have a different property. So those are my three colors and what I have in those colors. And if I know I have some designer paper, I might pull that. The card I'm starting to formulate in my mind, though I'm not sure I want designer paper for. The dessert option for this week, in addition to colors, there'll be something that there's an optional add to the card, and that for this week it's bugs, insects, butterflies, dragonflies. I'm going to use these ladybugs. This is from the Love You Lots Stamps as a Hostess stamp set from Stampin' Up, and I'm going to do the two little ladybugs. Now, whenever I see these ladybugs, I start to think circles. I think they're really cute if you stamp them and punch them out in a circle. So I pulled out a couple of circle punches. And that led me to remember that yesterday I got in the mail from a friend some die cuts that she had done, and one of the ones she sent me is Impression Obsession Scribble Circles. And I remember when she bought this, she said, I just can't believe I bought a die with this just scribbly circles, but I've seen so many wonderful cards on Pinterest, so I just went out to Pinterest just to see what she was talking about, and yeah, there's some really, really cool cards to do with these. So I don't want to use all of these on this one card, but what I was thinking for them is to maybe put them around, one of them around my little bugs. I think these two are the same. Yeah, these two are the same. This is about the right size, and put the little bugs in that one little scribbly circle, and then we'll save the rest of these for another project, and maybe I'll just punch some circles out of paper, and this might be where I could get into some designer paper to punch some out, or I may do some stamping. I think I'm going to stamp with some background stamps on these different papers. Just kind of thinking out loud here, and maybe use some of the oxide effects with some of them. And it looks like I'm going to be doing the orange and the coral because, as I say, I don't have anything that green. The only thing I could do with the green if I wanted a stamped effect is I could stamp with Versamark and emboss with clear embossing powder, and that would give me kind of a stamped look for that background. And of course, if you don't have the colors in inks, if you have an embossing machine, you could emboss the cardstock. I don't have that either, so so it's going to be cutting it in some cute way, just using it for the background or whatever. But those are my three colors. So I'm starting to think about what I want to do here. So I think what we will do is start stamping some of these with these two with some background stamps, and then punching those out in circles and kind of arranging my card. And when I went to my background stamps, I first reached for something that I use all the time, one of my favorites, and I thought, no, let's use some stuff that I haven't used in a long time and put some of these stamps to work. This is an old Hero Art stamp. One from Jenny Boland that's real cute. I don't know why I haven't used it very much. This one's been used a lot, but it has been quite a while. It's was a wheel from Stampin' Up, and I unmounted it, put the foam kind of stuff on the back. So let's do a few of these in some of these different colors. We're going to start with the let's start with this one, and I think do this stamp. Calypso Coral. And I don't need tons of these to punch out. I keep some just scrap pieces of card. This one's obviously pretty dirty, but just something in the 4.5 by 5 size so I can get an idea of what I'm going to need. And if I'm punching circles maybe to go around here, I'm going to need maybe 4 or 5 other circles, and that's it. So I'm not going to need a whole lot to fill up that space. So let's start with some Calypso coral. We'll punch out a few of these designs in different sizes. And then I'm going to use the oxide ink on the Peach Parfait, and I cut that down because I may want to add some water to it. Now that did not show up nearly as much as I would like. It was a little bit light, and I did it again. I got a little bit better stamped image, but it's still kind of light. So I think what we're going to do is use a different stamp, that one that has a larger surface area. That showed up a lot better, and I'm going to add some water to it, and you'll get the oxide look, so it kind of turns it not exactly white, but it just changes the appearance. And one of the features of the Distress Oxides is that you can stamp one color on top of another color. So I could take the orange and stamp it on the coral and it still showed up. So I did that over to the side. Starting to get an idea of the number of these that I need and the placement. And I'm fairly sure now I'm just going to use the artichoke paper for the background. I'm going to need some words here, and when that dries we'll punch it out, which I'm doing here with a larger punch. I decided I did need some of the larger circle punch. I have 3 of size circle punches now out here, and I have the Creative Memories cutters, but I just thought I'd go ahead and use my punches. I did find some artichoke paper and just a little bit left. It came out of one of those paper pads that they used to give away at Celebration or Hostess Gifts, I can't remember, but I finally broke those down and put them with my other 6x6 papers, and I knew I had a little bit in artichoke. Now I'm stamping the ladybugs with black archival ink and coloring them with the markers, and ladybugs aren't always red. The ones we get around here are kind of an orangey color, so I think that's going to work. And we're going to punch that out with the smaller of the circle punches and maybe layer it up a little bit. So we'll start to assemble our card. Not that many different stamps, but I think they show up different using different colors and things, and of course you can repeat them some. So this one's just sort of an example of my process, finding the colors first. What do I have to work with when it comes to a color challenge? And then how can I use that? And of course I could have gone through designer paper and found some designer paper to match, but using the cardstock and some background stamps I still got some nice designs. And then I've made a little banner out of my words, and I'm going to glue it on. I'm feeling at this point like the card maybe needs a little something more. It needs another piece up there with the 2 small ones at the top, and I just don't have anything left. I'd have to stamp some more stuff, and I've kind of cleaned my stamps off now. So I'm looking for some other embellishment here, considering some buttons. I kind of like how the buttons are looking. I do not have a lot of orange buttons. That is one thing. I've got tons of buttons, but I don't have many orange ones. I think we're getting together a design here, and I'll just add some dimensional adhesive behind the ladybugs. And so here's our card. I just added a few buttons as I was going through. I felt like it just needed something else besides the paper. And now that I've got it done, I think this would be a really cute Father's Day card. And I always struggle with those. You know, I have like one Happy Father's Day stamp I've used a few times now. So this is, I think, just perfect. And when I always kind of hesitate too about putting buttons, really thick buttons because of the mailing and stuff. I don't have to mail it. So I think this would be just the great card for Father's Day. Using the Love You Lots set, and I used what colors and things I had, got some exercise on my punches and my older background stamps. And I got to use something fun and new with these circles called Scribble Circles from Impression Obsessions. So my thanks to my friend Karen for sending those to me, and I had a lot of fun doing this card this morning. It was a nice creative break. I hope you enjoyed it. And very quickly, I'll share with you, this was last week's card for the color challenge, and I got picked as the color challenge of the week card. I was very excited about that. This is a jelly print background, and I used another jelly print to stamp and cut out my flower, and then a little bit of yellow paint on top to create the center of the flower. I stamped that with brown archival ink and then just fussy cut it. I stamped in one of the colors of the week, and on cardstock cut that out, used a little bit of green ribbon with a buckle and some neutral there. I think that there were 5 colors in the challenge last week to try to use all of the ones from last year, the old end colors that are going away from Stampin' Up, and I got all 5 of them and on this card. So, and I did a little bit of stamping on that jelly print background too. So anyway, I just wanted to share that one quickly, since I didn't do a video. I didn't even do a blog post on it. I just did it really quickly, and it used the sketch challenge and the color challenge. So thanks again for watching, and if you like the video, I would love to get a thumbs up. I think that helps YouTube advance my channel, so I really appreciate it. Bye.